Today on the Eurotruck Podcast, World of Warcraft Legion expansion is previewed, an Overwatch beta might be coming soon, Fallout 4 has no level cap, and Cities Skylines is going dark with the After Dark expansion. Hello and welcome to the Eurotruck Podcast with Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
Freelance Gamer.
And Dr. Uber Shadow.
It's totally not the right order.
That's
Yes,
okay.
it is.
No, it's
Wait,
not.
no, it's not.
Third.
Oh, I sat there thinking I went. I was like,
Oh my god.
I think I went wrong. I don't remember.
We had a whole discussion about Freelance knowing exactly where he went in the lineup and then ended up getting it wrong. That's okay though.
I'm reading about this update.
It doesn't really matter.
Good job, Hero. That's okay. Anyway, so where are we headed to today?
We are going to Milano, the cookie.
The cookie. Freelance, any interesting facts about Milano?
Let me see. The city or the cookie?
The city.
Either.
Well, actually, yeah, either or. Let's play two
All right.
truths and a lie.
So
Or,
the good news is when you Google Milano, you get images of the city, and then the first actual link is Pepperidge Farm Milano cookies.
That's great.
That's awesome. Okay, so true facts.
Oh,
I've never eaten a Milano
That's why.
cookie before.
I have.
by the way, Milano is the Italian word for Milan, which is the name of the city. In case you
Oh.
didn't know that.
Hmm.
That
It's the
makes
second most
sense.
populous city in Italy. Serves as the capital of Lombardy, and has a
Lombardy?
population about 1.3 million.
Any interesting facts about the cookie?
Hold
It's
on.
delicious.
Is it though?
I've had them before.
I think they're
pretty good.
really good.
It just sounds like one of those things that's just too expensive for its own merit.
I've never bought them myself. I've always eaten other people's Milano cookies.
I also wouldn't say that they're terribly expensive because they're not that hard to make. They're literally 2 biscuits.
Hmm.
This is true.
And like a what is it? Like a weird chocolate filling in the middle?
Oh,
I feel like
so
it's like you could just put
spoiler
Nutella
alert.
in the middle.
I didn't know this. So I didn't know this at all. Milano cookies are trademarked as a dessert manufactured by Pepperidge Farm as part of their series of European cookies. It has no real incarnation. It is a Pepperidge Farm cookie solely. You cannot make your own Milano cookie.
Huh.
Pepperidge Farm made them as a variation on an Italian dessert from the Reeds.
So it's not an actual thing.
I mean, it is. It is.
But it doesn't have its roots as like a grandma recipe.
I'm looking. The Milano was created as a result of Pepperidge Farm's original cookie concept, the Naples. So it's an original cookie concept by Pepperidge Farm. It has nothing to do with them. I apologize to all Italians.
Wow.
I didn't know that at all.
I see. Where are you on the road right now?
I'm going past some trees. There's a
Same.
large white fence I'm about to pass.
Okay.
Looks
I'm
like
about to
it's
pass something that looks
protecting
like
people from suicide or something. Oh, some
Looks
train
like
tracks. Oh, there's a large corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I know. So, show of hands, who's upgraded to Windows 10?
Hands up.
My hand is up.
Yes, I upgraded to Windows 10.
Someone had something on Facebook about Windows 10, like, when you agreed to it, that it allowed them to, save copies of your personal data.
That's everything. Facebook does that.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's already a
That's
thing.
the internet.
Yeah. Basically, I'm pretty sure that only affects OneDrive documents, by the way.
That
Yeah.
does sound right. The one thing
would
that
sound right.
I did notice that you have to watch out for is there is a setting that basically allows Windows 10 to do the updates via peer-to-peer, basically. So like if I had the option turned on, and someone near me needed to get the latest update to Windows 10 for Windows 10, they could peer off me if I was closer than the content delivery network, and they would just have my internet send it to them. Yeah, if you have caps in general or usage caps, that would be an area where you definitely wouldn't want it on. But it does basically a caching for all intents and purposes. So if you have multiple Windows 10 computers in your household and one person downloads the update, your internet doesn't need to download it all over again for every other computer. It'll just see that
okay.
there's a computer on your network that has the update, and it'll pull it right off that computer.
So sort of like what
And you can select which one you want. You can either allow all sharing with me and people off my network, or just on your network.
So now now that that's cleared up, that actually makes a good deal of sense.
Yeah. So if you just use it from that side, if you set just that setting to be enabled and not the other one, it makes a lot more sense. However, if you haven't already, you should go after the podcast. Go and turn that off.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to find that at the moment
because it's on by default.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds like a pretty good idea. Public service announcement.
Public service announcement. If you don't want to upload your Windows 10 updates to everyone, go ahead and look into that setting. And there is an article about it somewhere online that I've seen that I could post in our doobly-doo down below. And that way people have that information. But anyway, it sounds like a good time to get into some news. Last week we talked about how there was a new expansion for World of Warcraft coming out, and that there was an announcement for an announcement on last Thursday, but since we record earlier than that, we wouldn't know exactly what it was until the next week, and we now know what it is. It's the Legion expansion, which will bring some new stuff. Isn't that right, Freelance?
Oh yeah, it's gonna. They decided. I'll get into my opinion.
Freelance's internet has pooped out at the exact moment that he needed to talk about World of Warcraft.
Hi, hello. Is the world there? Can
You're
they
good
hear me?
now.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, they're doing a Legion expansion, which is based around the Burning Legion, which is what Burning Crusade was kind of about. They're bringing a new continent called the Broken Isles. So the new class is they're adding a new class to the game called Demon Hunter, which is a melee class based off Illidan Storm Rage. They're gonna have the ability to do double jumps and gliding and all these shenanigans, and it'll be kind of fun. They changed their PvP honor system so that it'll have a little less focus on gear and a little more focus on like individual play, because it feels a little unbalanced as of the most recent expansion. They're putting class-focused quests into the game, which we had before and they got rid of, but now they're bringing them back. Blizzard doing things because they do things. And they're adding new weapons. They're adding artifact weapons. Artifact weapons are going to be like weapons that are important to the lore that people will know. A great example of this is the Ashbringer, which is one of the most important weapons in Warcraft lore.
Will I be able to have his
hammer? Thrall's Hammer. Thrall's Hammer, which is named, hold on, I cannot remember it for the life of me. It is here though, Doomhammer. You can have Doomhammer. That's an option.
Doomhammer.
We may be going back to WoW just so he can get a Doomhammer.
How about the Thunder Fury Blessed Blade of the Windseeker? Is that coming back?
I don't know. I didn't see it in the list.
Oh,
They might do it. I don't see Thunder Fury Blessed Blade of the Windseeker.
Well, it'd be nice if it comes back, just so we can see that pop up in the chat even more.
That would be great. And then with the new class, they're actually going to have it start out in a new area, as they normally do, kind of like they did with Death Knights. So that'll be cool.
And pandas, question mark?
Pandas are more like a racial start.
Okay.
The whole race of pandas start there, so they don't really have an independent one.
Gotcha.
Versus when you and also technically, the monk in WoW wasn't considered the same kind of class as the Death Knight is. Death Knight is considered an epic class, I believe is the wording for it. I can't, they just say new class here. Anyway, it's a specific type of class where you start out ahead of everyone else. So you have to have had one character, well, okay, I might be wrong on this, because they don't say this, but the way they did it before with Death Knight was you had to have a character at level 60 in order to make a Death Knight. You couldn't make a Death Knight unless you did that. Death Knight started at level 55, and then by the time you finished the beginning area, you were level 60.
Oh dear! Oh dear!
He crashes into a guardrail.
I'm on my side.
Oh, he's on my side. And then
I'm in a
with
wood
this,
on my side.
With this, they're hopefully going to be starting you out at like level 95, and you go to level 100. I'm hoping, because if they do it where you start at level 55, you're going to be playing through Burning Crusade.
And that's gonna suck.
And that to me is the worst expansion because it still uses the old original game's formula, which was fine before they showed us this newfangled nice way of leveling that made us not hate our lives. If you pick up 3 quests at the same time, they're all in the east, you go complete all of them, you come back, they go, okay, now do all these quests in the west. Now do all these quests in the south. So you complete 3 quests at a time in the same area. Also, another problem, if you don't have a flying mount, leveling from 60 to 70 is a pain.
Yeah.
Because you die a lot.
Yep.
Because someone will just fly over top of you and go, I am a level 80 paladin, whop. Or I'm a level 100, whop. Because I can't PvP against anyone else.
And then just like blat.
So hopefully, and I really do mean this, they start you out at a higher level, like 100, where you'll still get ganked by other players. But it's a little bit better for the area. Like, you'll at least be like, oh, I only have 10 levels to go, versus I have 50.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else important to that. Or at least, there's probably other important things I'm just skimming over at this point. But they did a full release on it. Wowhead has a full article on it, like, really in-depth. And there's going to be some interesting things. Personal opinion, I think the game should have like stopped at 100. Like they probably should have actually done this as much as people hated this, as 2 5-level expansions from 90 to 95 and from 95 to 100, and then stopped. Because I don't think they're going to end their game with a weird number like 110 as their level cap.
Right.
And their player population is going down very fast. Even with this, it has not recovered. Like people don't seem to care. So I don't know. I hope that this helps them and maybe pulls it together, and maybe I'll go back to the game. But the last expansion didn't as much as it needed to. I don't think this one's going to.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people in the article I was reading talking about the little quirky things that happen that cause you to not want to play or not play with your friends as much as you used to. So
particularly the big change is you don't need friends in WoW to play WoW now because of the looking for group and looking for raid mechanics, and also with the servers set, which we mentioned before, they're making it so you can now serve on the other side. But it used to be you faced other people on a very small set of servers. Like, you weren't facing people from 10 different servers. So if you PvP'd against a dude, you're probably going to PvP against him again. And you may create a vendetta where I gotta beat him one of these times. And that keeps you playing. And so now it's a little less like that. It's a little more... You play because you have nothing left to do and $15 a month isn't much to you.
So there's just a trailer kind of like just blocking the road. I have to drive around it.
I do know another Blizzard news. If you've been paying attention to your Battle.net, Overwatch is now at the bottom.
Yep. Can I tell you a fun fact? I had to reinstall my Battle.net to get that to happen. Because
mine worked fine.
My Battle.net never actually gave me Heroes of the Storm either. It kept saying, "Hey, get this Foundry Pack thing," rather than give me the option to install, since the game actually has released since then.
Right.
And I was like, but this is not it. It was like, "Yep, this is it. This is it. You're up to date." No, you're not. You're up to date. No, I don't think so, Battle.net. I don't think that's how this works. And so I finally just was like, okay, whatever. It's not gonna fix itself. I'll just reinstall the thing, and then as soon as I did that, it was like, oh, by the way, Battle.net has an update. Thanks for finally acknowledging that you have an update.
See, I genuinely look forward to installing Overwatch just because I dug the trailer. I'm a sucker for FPSs. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to an FPS. I just don't. I guess it depends on how they make the game.
Yeah,
I'll give it a fair shake. I'll give it a chance. If it sucks, it was free. You know, no harm, no foul.
Well,
it's Blizzard. Who knows what? The question, the level of freeness.
Yeah.
Really?
That's
one of those
things. We don't know.
They haven't released any information about it. This is the first. This is the most information they've released besides classes.
Right.
Like the way that they've been releasing Overwatch information was, oh, here's a new class for Overwatch, by the way, and then that was the extent. And then every couple months
they would. I think it's going to be free because it won't be able to compete, but I can't guarantee that.
Yeah, it could be like a TF2 model.
Yeah, that's what I think they're doing too.
Where
You could also pull a League of Legends model where
skins, yeah, that's possible.
skins or just in-game currency.
Yeah, very possible. But there is rumors that there's going to be a beta launching soon.
So make sure you opt in for that.
So opt into that in your BattleNet if you haven't already.
Dota 2 Reborn.
Yeah,
They're going to be able to support 24 players?
Yeah, it's kind of insane, isn't it?
That's a lot.
Like,
That's absurd.
It is a custom game mode for Dota 2, and a reminder that Dota 2 Reborn is the new version of Dota 2 that runs on the Source 2 engine. So it will actually be able to do a lot more stuff, and this is kind of their way of showing off the fact that Source 2 can do so much more and has such an improvement over original Source that they're saying, hey look, Source 2 can handle 24 people in a Dota map and in a Dota match. So I can only imagine how horrible that's going to be, especially just think about what Hexakill looks like when you add just one person.
I have
to
a feeling they're
going to
make the map work with it, though.
I don't know, because it says it's a custom game mode. So is it a custom game mode, like that includes a map, a custom map for it, or is it, like right, exactly, like they do occasionally for League, or is it literally just going to be the default Dota 2 map with 24 players on it? The other question is, how long of a game is that end up being?
Right, that's the other thing, is like it's
it's bad enough when a 5v5 in League becomes an hour.
An hour.
And if you think about it, like that's rare-ish for that game to go on that long.
Right.
Usually, 45 minutes is typically the longest that a match should be. Yeah, so that'll be kind of interesting to see how that ends up going.
And then other news, something Mike will be excited about.
Turns out Fallout 4 is not going to have the typical ending that most of the Fallout games have had. So like when you finish the story, the game does not just fully over. It's like you don't have to revert autosave to go back and keep exploring things. You can just keep exploring and keep leveling after the game's over. Infinitely.
And you can keep doing it infinitely because there's no level cap.
I mean, I guess that makes sense just given the breadth of Fallout 4.
Right, it's a very large game, but I'm sure a lot of people will like this. But in other news, Cities Skylines getting a pretty decent expansion coming up to it. It's called the After Dark expansion. Up until now, there hasn't been any day or night cycles in Cities Skylines, so it was just perpetually daytime in the game. So the fact that they're adding this is adding some unique abilities to the game. So it'll actually affect the citizens' schedule. They won't all just be driving to work all the time, and driving home like it currently is. It'll actually adjust how traffic is. So at nighttime there'll be less traffic on the roads. There'll be some new specifications for both leisure for commercial areas. So you'd be able to put say that a certain area should be reserved for nightlife, so there'll be like restaurants and bars and stuff, as well as a new beach specialization, so you can have beachfront property with beach stuff and tourists and whatnot. And
that's a really cool expansion, just because that'll add
a lot of
a lot of different availability. Because I know with the Sims, it's like, oh, you get some of the Sims. I don't know, but recent Sims. Only one I got on me is 2004, I think, where it was you got to choose one of 3 different, distinctions of area. What I'm curious about is, so they say it's going to slow your traffic pattern at night, so cars will drive slower.
I don't know that it's slower, but as in more, there's just less traffic.
See, I'm curious, what if you have a really well lit area versus a really dark area?
Well, just
does
less
that affect
vehicles.
the drivers?
That's a good question.
So like in New York City versus, the suburbs.
Right.
Right. Just not in occupancy, but yeah.
I don't know.
That'll be interesting to see.
It will be interesting to see. They have also added, along with that, some new city services that seem to be coming with it, like prisons, taxis, and an international airport. So right now
I hope they added. Do they have disasters in that game?
They don't have disasters currently, no.
Dude, Prison Break would be one of the best disasters you could possibly have.
That would make it more interesting. But yeah, there's not currently disasters. But they did. This hasn't come out yet. This expansion isn't available today, but they said it's coming soon. So if you play Cities Skylines, that's something to look forward to. Something else to look forward to is Halo Wars 2 coming to the PC in fall 2016.
Isn't it that RTS from like 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah. Yep. For the Xbox 360.
Yep, I remember it.
And I know Freelance had some issues with the console version because it's a console, and you're playing with a controller, and the ability to manipulate your resources correctly can be a bit troublesome.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it. That's a very nice way of putting that.
So in theory, because it's going to be a PC game, it should be much more of a traditional RTS.
And hopefully not oversimplified.
Right. If it's oversimplified, then you can just say, well, Microsoft sucks at making things, so GG. But
except for Freelancer.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it's the only thing by them that I truly enjoyed.
Well, on that bombshell, it is time to end. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Euro Truck Podcast. Let's see, if you liked this video and you thought it was interesting, hit that like button, as well as leave a comment down below. Let us know how you really feel about this. Do you think Halo Wars is a good thing? Do you think it's going to work well this time? Do you want to see this World of Warcraft expansion come out? Do you think World of Warcraft needed more expansions? Do you think the game needs to continue? Do you think it should become free to play? You answer those questions down in the box below. But we will see you guys next week.